You're watching Free Press Journal live on YouTube. I'm Afrida Rahman Ali. Monsoon is actually that time of the year which becomes a litmus test for a city's infrastructure. Across India, it's the same story. This is the trying times. This is the period of time where the local bodies, the municipal bodies, and their efficiency comes to question. Mumbai is always a city that is watched out for, that gets all the attention. And what do we see during monsoons? A city that has infrastructure crumbling in all directions. Yes, that's the story every monsoon. The fear is that we are becoming numb to this reality. We are becoming numb now and literally immune to the monsoon disasters. We don't even want to bring up anymore because the fatigue has set in. We've spoken about it enough, but that should not be the case, which is why I'm going to introduce Rohit Chandavarkar, senior journalist, joining me on the program, who has written about this, one of the few journalists who has decided to take up this matter and also take up the citizens' perspective on this matter. Rohit, I read your piece on the Free Press Journal today, and I really appreciate the fact that of all that is happening, there's always other bigger stories of, multi-party MPs going to foreign countries, getting all the headlines, but in our day-to-day lives, this is what matters, isn't it? And as a journalist, you've taken up the problems of the people and the way this matter of the Mumbai deluge is getting increasingly politicized. First of all, tell us about, will this impact the local body polls? Will people learn to punish those responsible, or at least question those responsible, by their power to vote in the BMC elections?
Afrida, thank you for having me. Yes, that is the big question in everybody's mind, I think. Will the civic polls, which are going to happen in just 4 months from now, not just in Mumbai, but about 14 big municipal corporations all across Maharashtra, including Pune, Thane, Navi Mumbai, etc., and also district councils, Jilla Parishad elections, which are happening 4 months from now. And the monsoon mayhem is not just limited to Mumbai, but you saw Thane uh, getting affected, Pune very badly getting affected, etc. So I thought, we have to look at this, get this perspective that this kind of flooding in our big cities affects everybody from, let's say, slum dwellers to those who live in high-rise, multi-story towers in South Mumbai or in western suburbs of Mumbai, some of the richest localities, not just in Maharashtra, but in India. People living there getting affected very badly, as well as slum dwellers and chawl dwellers, the middle class, lower middle class, all those people. So this can be compared to cricket. If you look at cricket, it interests everybody. You have the slum dwellers watching it, and you have the big businessman or industrialist watching matches sitting in the stadium nowadays. So it's like that. It's that big. So I thought, why not ask questions about, why this is happening every year, why it cannot be controlled, and who's responsible. Those are the, I think, key questions that come to any
Yeah.
journalist's mind, your mind, my mind. So my point is, there has been a huge amount of neglect of civic infrastructure, wrong policies, which I can clearly, see, I have seen in the last 25, 30 years of, news reporting and editing that I did for various channels, newspapers, etc. That, there has been rampant construction happening in cities like Mumbai, which is uncontrolled. There is rampant floor space index, FSI, being given to real estate developers, and without thinking about what kind of impact that is going to have on a city like Mumbai in the coming decades. We have, I've spent more than 25 years in Mumbai working. Before that, I was, of course, living in Pune, studied in Pune. But two things I want to say, in my career in Mumbai, in the early days, I saw monsoon mayhem happening twice in a year. Now, I see it happening 5 times in a year. In my student days in Mumbai, there was no flooding happening in city like Pune. Now Pune has, twice or thrice this kind of flooding on roads. One of the biggest real estate and IT hubs in India, automobile sector hub in India, that is getting flooded, and everybody is, stuck on the road for 3 or 4 hours nowadays in Pune during monsoon, 3 times. So I'm saying, this is a graph that is worrying everybody, and it should really raise questions about what are the civic polls, coming to your question, what are the civic polls all about? We are going to vote for
Yeah.
corporators who are going to run the city of Mumbai through the Mumbai Municipal Corporation, and they are supposed to be responsible for all this. So are the
Yeah.
voters going to vote on the basis of the mess that they experienced? Is there going to be any anger spilling in the ballot boxes? Are the
Look
ruling
at these
parties going
pictures,
to get
Rohit. I'm playing
affected?
it out. I mean, this is one of the metro stations that got completely flooded. The roofs collapsed. What kind of impression it really gives, on kind of system that we have in place. That even like if this is a newly constructed metro station, but Rohit, I think you have also raised a concern about in your article at least about how the matters get politicized. And somewhere in all the din and bustle, we forget that it's the people who are getting impacted. The idea is not to just do some political blame game here, but nevertheless, you do hear the likes of Aditya Thackeray
Metro which is
coming
inaugurated
out using this opportunity and not failing to use this opportunity to
waterlogging
question
has
the government.
happened everywhere across Mumbai, and now you see pumps coming in and generators coming in. This ideally planning should have happened in April. For 25 years when we were in government in BMC, we were on the spot working for the people.
Recently the metro has been inaugurated and now the water has
The metro which was inaugurated just 2 weeks ago, a wall has collapsed, a gutter line has broken. We just saw from the top the terrible state. It is a threat to Mumbai and Mumbai's life.
in the KM hospital the whole water is
Absolutely, absolutely.
So, there is going to be political back and forth, undoubtedly. But somewhere, is there a danger in this? Because then what happens is, with over politicizing these issues, somewhere, in terms of we would want our leaders, our elected representatives to come together and find a solution and not just use it as a political hot potato. What are the dangers? You've written about it in your article, but I want you to share with our viewers as well.
Afrida, 2 points that come to my mind and that I have tried to reflect in the article. One is that the politicians who run Mumbai city, many times these people come from some other part of Maharashtra. I am talking about the ministers in the Maharashtra cabinet, like the urban development ministry, or even the chief ministers, various chief ministers. I'm talking about even in Congress era, you had Vilasrao Deshmukh who came from Marathwada. You had uh, others, many others. Those who came from Marathwada, from Western Maharashtra, from other places, and got elected in Maharashtra Vidhan Sabha and got the responsibility of running Maharashtra, including running Mumbai city, state capital. They don't seem to have, they don't seem to take that emotional ownership of Mumbai, and they don't somehow feel responsible for the development, which is responsible development for Mumbai city, which will be sustainable. That is the point. They always looked at Mumbai, all these chief ministers, as a cash cow, not just a cash cow that will sponsor elections for their party in Maharashtra, but maybe they will fund elections for their party in other states, like smaller states in North India or wherever. Those funds I hear go from Mumbai. Mumbai's industrialists and businessmen pay these politicians. The whole world knows that. I'm not taking any name, so nobody can blame us over that. But I'm just saying, most of the politicians are paid by many businessmen for various things, and those funds are used for elections, not just in Maharashtra but all over India. So that is the
Yeah.
crux. Part one, that there is no ownership kind of a thing that any chief minister feels about Mumbai, and the chief minister has, most of them have never thought that this is my town and I have to take care of that. The second part, of course, is that the development seems to be somehow inspired by smaller states, nations. And I'm talking about, I've interacted with many municipal commissioners in the past 20 years. And what I've heard from them is that, we went to Singapore and we saw, the development plan there, and how they have this vertical growth because there is a large scheme of densification, is the word that they use. Densification of cities is necessary because that that leads to better efficiency, better transport systems, etc. Now the big thing that I've been writing about many times and speaking on TV channels many times in regional language also is that Singapore model may not work here. Singapore is forced to do that because they have limited land. In Maharashtra, Mumbai may be an island, but you can always go towards Navi Mumbai, towards Panvel, other places, or towards Virar, and beyond, and there is unlimited land available, almost unlimited, virtually unlimited land available for structures and for expansion. What right now is happening is too much densification and too much of high-rise buildings, which requires concretization around it for the structure to stay stable. And the visuals that we are seeing right now is a result of endless, rampant concretization that has happened in Mumbai. Because of this concretization, you have this breakdown of transport systems and even metro and other things. 4, 5, 6 times in a monsoon. Monsoon is just beginning. Imagine what will happen in July and August and other times. And the big thing is this leads to financial loss. Everybody has to understand that this is huge financial loss. This is huge risk to the
Yeah.
citizens in terms of danger, in terms of spread of disease or any such thing. So there seems to be, some weird planning being thought about. What I mean to say is densification. That densification thing is just not working, and they have to think about that. So these are the two
Yeah,
parts.
but
One is
yeah,
that the political leadership. Now, I'll just finish in 10 seconds.
yeah.
These are the two parts. One, to summarize, one is the political apathy because the politicians are from either Marathwada, from Western Maharashtra, from North Maharashtra, from Vidarbha, other places. They don't really care for Mumbai, so to speak. And the bureaucrats who, go to foreign countries, city states or, city nations like Singapore, study the model there. They come back here and they say, oh, this will work for us also, which has obviously not worked. So these are the two things that those are the
Yeah, but
crux of
Rohit,
what
you would
happened.
be aware that there were these contractors that who were given the task of pumping of the pumps to pump out the excess water, and those pumps failed in several occasions. Now these contractors are being pulled up, saying you did a shoddy job. They are being fined as being reported now. But the fact of the matter is that this entire tendering process and the levels of corruption that exist ensures that we do not get a fair deal. I mean, the right person for the right job is not chosen. And that is so badly exposed, isn't it? The
Yes,
BMC
now you
contractors
come.
who recently got
Yes, now.
fined shows that,
So,
your system is not in place. Who was doing
so
this job of
yeah.
getting the pumps in order? And they're not,
Yes,
and they're
yes,
failing at
Afrida.
the opportune moment. Yeah.
Yes, Afrida. So yeah, now you come to the real question that various media brands, print, television, digital, all of them should be asking these questions. And the question is, what are the voters going to do about this? Because it's the voters who are going to get affected. And that's the question that came to my mind, which is the title of today's Paper Journal edit page article. Will this affect will the contractors not doing their job properly? Will this flooding? Will this disruption of life? Will this all that we are seeing around and right now on your screen in the visuals? Will all this affect the voters and they will vote on the basis of these issues, or will they again go for some emotional issues like Marathi Manus issue, or the
But you
insecurity
are
and
answering
Maharashtra
that,
and
Rohit,
so.
in the article as well. You're answering it, and this is what you're
Yes.
saying that
So
after
the
the
convenience.
clashes in
So the last
Mumbai, it
point.
did not impact. It did not
Yeah. So
impact the Shiv Sena BJP.
so
So what is
yeah.
to say that this
So
time it will impact?
for your viewers' benefit, I will just
Hmm.
repeat that point in my article. What I have said in the piece is that, and I got many people calling me or at least sending me WhatsApp messages and all over that, is that the politicians and bureaucrats have found a very convenient way of making this city structure in such a way that there is huge multiplicity of agencies. The government agencies, there is a huge multiplicity and nobody knows who's responsible for what. And what I have said is that there is Brihan Mumbai Municipal Corporation, which is BMC, which is supposed to be responsible mainly. But there is also MMRDA, Mumbai Metropolitan
Yeah.
Regional Development Authority. There is MADA, which is the housing board. There is Railways, Central Railway, Western Railway. There is Urban Development Ministry of Maharashtra government, which clears various projects and other things. So there is state government, there is central government in terms of railways operating in large areas of Mumbai. There are state government agencies and there are local self government agencies of BMC. So it's very easy for politicians and some bureaucrats to push the blame to the other side or somebody else's court. When there is water logging, you will typically see one government agency saying that, oh, this is the responsibility of another agency. That's what has been happening for decades, Afrida, in Mumbai. And
Yeah.
that's why we have this kind of situation today, where we are fearing what we are going to face in June and July and August, maybe also. Now, not just in low-lying areas like Dadar, Parel, and other places, but also in South Mumbai, also in western suburbs and places like Bandra and other places all over Mumbai. So the question is, how will the citizens or public organizations or media units like ourselves, we will have to identify who's responsible for this and throw light on that, and tell the citizens that, okay, if there is flooding in Dadar, this is the place which was not properly cleaned, or these are the drains which were this year not properly cleaned, and this is the agency, government agency, which you can hold responsible for. So there is some kind of accountability brought in the system. And I think if it is a political agency or a government agency that is supposed to work for citizens, considering the kind of taxes that we are paying to them, not just the GST, state GST and central GST, but also municipal, huge municipal property taxes we pay, and on everything we pay. As citizens, we are paying so much taxes, and they are supposed to give us. They are not even giving us public health properly now. We are going to private hospitals for that. They are not giving us education properly. We are going to private education institutes for that. Everybody is getting educated in private schools, private colleges, and they are, in case they are sick, they go to private hospitals and take private insurance. So, what is the government doing with all these taxes
And
that
what are we
they
paying our taxes
they
for?
are supposed
Exactly.
to give us?
Exactly.
They are supposed to give us only roads, street lights, and garbage clearance. Those are the only three things that they are left with right now, and that also they are not able to do properly. That is the point. So my thing is, at some point, citizens organizations and media and everybody has to ask these questions and create awareness about this. Otherwise, you have the same situation every year and same
Year
kind of
on year.
bad
Right.
road
You
conditions
made a
and
good
everything.
point there, Rohit. You made an excellent point about how it is a media's job as well to inform and empower people about who they should question. And the BMC should not get away saying, "Ye to railway land hai," and then MMRDA has come in and MHADA has come in, and then there's always the tendency to deflect. There is another way they deflect by saying this is nature's fury. 100 साल में
Yes,
इतना नहीं हुआ तो क्या
yes.
करेंगे? मतलब, it
That's a
happens
nice
everywhere
new,
in
yeah.
the world.
Climate change is a great new excuse for all politicians and bureaucrats. But my point is, climate change has to be anticipated. If you have realized that there is instead of 2,200 millimeters of rainfall, nowadays there is 2,600 millimeters of rainfall happening every season. You have to kind of account for that and build the metro station according to that. Why is the metro station built in such a way that just in 150 millimeters of rain it reaches this
Yeah.
kind of situation? That is the question.
Yeah, and also, our floodplains, our mangroves, and as you pointed out earlier in the conversation, the tracts and tracts of land being given to developers, there is big money to be made. And therefore, we know that, how these sort of commissioning of land, which is crucial perhaps even to be maintained as floodplains are not being maintained. Those questions remain. This conversation can go on for much longer, but I know that you have other commitments. Thank you, Rohit, for joining us today, for giving us your time and your views on this topic.
Thank you, Afrida. It's always a pleasure talking with you. Thank you.
Pleasure, pleasure. Thank you. Well, that's an important conversation that we decided to have today. We wanted someone with the insights to share with us what exactly is the reason that we have to deal with this every monsoon. And you heard Rohit say there that there is a lack of political intent for sure. And there is a blame game, there is a shifting of onus, there are multiple agencies involved. Each one would like to shift the blame to the other. But this cannot go on. And as journalists, we want to do our duty of informing you about this, and also we would like you to consider this a matter that you go in with when you cast your vote for the local body. Thank you very much for watching. I leave you with these pictures. These are actually very disturbing pictures, I must say, in the heart of Mumbai, very close to where I'm sitting right now. This new metro station that was inaugurated, and look at how it looks after the first shower of rains, the first monsoon rains. This is how it looks.
जहां तक बारिश को लेकर करने वाले आपत्ति व्यवस्थापन या सेवा सुविधा के व्यवस्थापन का विषय है, सभी महानगर पालिका राज्य की आपत्ति व्यवस्थापन विभाग, राज्य सरकार के सभी विभाग ये अभी उसके लिए पूरी तैयारी से काम पर लगे हैं। तैयारी पूरी करके जितनी जन सेवा पूरी तरीके से दी जाए उसका प्रयास हम करेंगे।